Welcome back to Lucore Automotive. As you can see, we have Katrina Bell, 73 Charger chick, and her Big Block Mopar is back from performance research, and it is time to prep this thing for paint.
Yes.
Which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Not at all. This part sucks.
Right.
But we're going to pull these chrome valve covers off, and we are going to use a set of classic Mopar finned valve covers, which are also going to be painted the engine color. And Katrina is going to spend the next 2 hours of her life applying tape.
Yes. Yes. So, being that I have a Mopar Charger thing going on, I don't want to repaint my car because I like my teal color that I have. However, I wanted to do a kind of like homage or throwback to Plum Crazy Purple. So that was basically my plan since the first day that we knew we were going to do some kind of new engine thing. So I had planned this like way back last year. And this isn't exactly Plum Crazy Purple, but it's a close match.
And it's sparkly.
And it's metallic, so it's kind of, it's close to glitter as we can get. So.
Right.
But it's shiny and purple and it'll be pretty. So we're just going to do the block and the other chrome covers or the other valve covers that are not chrome. And that's pretty much it, because all of the new stuff that's aluminum, we're going to leave it aluminum.
At least that's the plan.
Yeah, I may change my mind later, but yeah. So doing a little throwback to old school Mopar. With a touch of purple. So.
And we're using two different kinds of purple too. We've got the VHT purple as well as the Dupli-Color purple. I think the plan is we're going to spray like one valve cover and let it sit and see what it looks like. Spray the other one with the other one, and that way we can kind of compare and contrast the two different colors. They look basically identical to me, but we'll see what happens when we lay them down and see what the paint turns out to be.
Yeah. So we're also doing a little testing too.
Yeah. So I am going to finish off cleaning the valve cover in the Media Blaster for the other one. I have the other one of these already done. I'll clean off the other one. And while I'm doing that, she's going to do this. We'll put you guys in time lapse so you can watch her work.
Okay.
Hop to it.
Enjoy. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to do the same thing with this guy, just wrap it in tape and not mess with the plastic. So, you know, I tried to do it the professional way in using plastic, and the tape, painter's tape, was not really sticking to the plastic, nor was it sticking to especially the aluminum up here, even though I cleaned it. We just covered the whole thing in just duct tape, because as we know, women only need 3 things in life to fix everything. We need a screwdriver, we need a hammer, and we need duct tape. That's it. So it's covered. Does it matter what it's covered with? I don't think so. It's covered. So there we go.
Well, we have all of the media blasting done on the valve covers. They're not completely clean, but they're pretty dang close. We also put them in our hot tank to be able to blast off whatever loose was still on here. But just in case, we're going to hit some brake clean to make sure we don't have any leftover, oils or anything from skin or from the cleaning materials that are in there. Let all that stuff come off there. And then we're going to lay down our base coat.
Yes.
And you've got your instructions on how to do that.
Yep. So it doesn't matter if I get paint on the
ground?
Yeah. Okay.
So as we said in the first part of this video, we are actually doing a little bit of a comparison here. One of these valve covers we're going to be doing with Dupli-Color materials. The other one we're going to be doing with VHT materials. Just to show if there's any difference between the two. There wasn't anything that we could see, but they're two different products sold by two different companies. So we'll see if they look different when they set up. So we're going to use the Dupli-Color primer and then Dupli-Color paint on this one, VHT primer and VHT paint on this one.
Minutes in between.
Now I'm gonna hope that that stuff will cover what's still showing through of the old paint.
Well, I have to do 3 coats.
Yeah, because you can definitely still see.
I said 2 light coats with 10
And
minutes
then a
in
medium
between,
coat.
and then 1 medium wet coat.
Like here. I'm really hoping that covers that up.
Full disclosure, these paints are supposed to be used between 60 and 95 degrees, I believe. It is currently 62 degrees, although it is a little bit windy.
Yeah.
Clouds are making it drop temperature a little bit quickly. But it is springtime in Ohio, so we kind of need to use a warm day to do this. So while the valve covers are curing between their 10-minute cycles, we're going to begin laying down primer on all of this. Sorry for the chrome valve covers. They're going to probably get covered in primer, but I want to paint those separately than these just because I want to. So start spraying.
Okay. Oh, let me get a dirt marker. Dirt marker. Okay.
The valve covers are on there. Second coat of primer. This is the VHT one. Looks pretty good. It's starting to cover up that black.
Yeah, it covers real nice.
Now this is also, we're using the anodized
Primer.
base. So it actually does have metal flake in it. Because the anodized painting we're going to be using shows through whatever the base color is. So we're trying to add some. Yeah, there's a little run in there.
And right there, yeah.
A little running. Got a little heavy on the paint there. That's all right.
All right, so we got 3 coats of the anodized metallic primer for Dupli-Color on here. The valve covers are also 3 coats. It's touchable in 20 minutes, paintable within an hour, or fully cured within an hour. But we're gonna let it sit overnight, so we're gonna come back tomorrow. I think that's pretty much it. We got the 3 coats on, let it sit. Got one little drip spot on one of the valve covers, so might try to sand that down a little bit before we paint it.
You were saying as far as the difference in primers, the VHT, you think?
Yeah, so I noticed that the first 1 or 2 coats that I did of the VHT seemed to cover a lot better. So here's a slight little product review for you. So the VHT primer seemed to cover a little better within the first like 1 to 2 coats. By the 3rd coat, I barely had to put any on. The Dupli-Color didn't cover so much in the first 2 coats, but by the 3rd coat, it looked good. We also had some wind issues, so the one with the Dupli-Color primer that I was using, I got a couple drip marks because the wind was blowing, and it's natural when the wind is blowing that you just get a little closer to whatever you're painting to avoid the spray spraying away. And so I got a rookie mistake, I know, but so I got a little drip mark. But yeah, so tomorrow we're going to do 1 valve cover with the Dupli-Color purple, and then 1 valve cover with the VHT purple color. The caps look exactly the same to me. So if the one comes out unlike the other, then I don't know. We'll see whichever one I like best. If they look the same, they look the same, and then we'll finish the block with whichever looks better, I guess. But here we go.
Sounds like a plan, man. I'm pretty happy with this. Actually, it looks really good in silver. Got to get that underside.
I can see it. I see everything.
Not that anybody will ever
I was
see,
gonna see
underneath this bolt
I
hole.
don't think anybody's gonna see it.
But I know it's there. All right. Let this thing dry, and we'll push it inside, let it cure for the night, then come back tomorrow, do some paint.
Yep. Do some pretty paint.
Well, as you can see, the sun is back, and we are on to part 2 of this. The metallic silver base coat has sealed down, and as we said before, we're going to be doing kind of a VHT versus Dupli-Color test here. So this is the Dupli-Color one. We're going to stick with the Dupli-Color on that. This is VHT. We're sticking with VHT on that. Had a small little issue with a run that we cleaned up this morning.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's in pretty good shape. I'm pretty happy with how they laid down.
Very nice.
I think they look great. I'm really excited to see how this purple looks. So, doing, I guess, like 2 coats, two light coats, and then a kind of a wetter coat,
I guess.
according to the old directions.
Yep.
And we'll see how this turns out. Apparently, it kind of lays down like a little bit of a colored clear coat and lets the silver shininess of this come through. So, let Katrina get to work here, and I'll step out of frame.
The wind would stop blowing.
Problem with painting outside is you never really know. Pretty heavy there. Got it pretty heavy into one spot. Start it off the piece, then pull it on. So there's the VHT for now.
That looks awesome.
It's getting there.
I love it.
One of the challenges of not being a paint shop and doing paint and body work is we have to do this outside, and it's windy. Okay, so there's our Dupli-Color level 1.
Thus far, they kind of look the same to me. But I like it. It's pretty.
Looking for any way you possibly can to stay out of the wind.
Yeah.
Painting in a hood.
Because it's annoying. It just literally blows the paint away.
So what do you think so far?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Noticing the difference between these two?
I do not. I absolutely do not.
So this is 2 coats, 2 light coats
Yep.
so far. And let this cure for another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll hit it with a heavier coat and see where we are.
Still a lovely windy day here in mid-central Ohio. So we're going to take these valve covers off. The ones that we just painted, we're going to put those back on because any overspray will just add to the detail, not really detail, but it'll just add to the paint that's on it. There's a couple spots that still kind of need touched up, but we don't want these to be purple. So we're going to take these off, put the purple ones on, and then we're going to start spraying the block and just make this all purple and shiny. Now, special note, the other valve covers, the chrome ones that we have, are going to go back on. Yeah, see, there's the wind. So great to paint in the wind. They're going to go on the motor that is currently in my car because we want to run that one on the track, at least do it one test and tune, just to get some time comparison from that same engine that was not built for racing to where we did some upgrades that was supposed to get me through racing season but was not finished before racing season. So we have not had a chance to run the minor upgrades that we started. So we do at least want to run that. Then once we do that, then we're going to swap out the engine and this will be for racing season. So, and then we're not sure what we're going to do with that other motor yet because sometimes things go boom.
Or we buy another car. Alright.
you want to get in on this side?
This is gonna take a little while. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, so we have 3 coats on the block, and I love it. Did the best I could because there's some corners that were a little difficult to get to, and the wind blowing didn't make it any easier. However, it is what it is because it's you know, the rattle can paint job looks better than it did. Let's just put it that way. So something interesting that we found, there were 2 small bolts that had been covered with tape that did not get primered or painted. So then he decides to tell me to cut off the paint or cut off the tape and then paint it, and it was a completely different color than what came out over the primer. So I would absolutely say if you're going to use this paint and it calls for the metallic primer, absolutely use the primer. The paint, of course, as with all primer, goes on much easier, and it does make the color seem to pop way better. Another surprising thing is, so we did the 2 different colors, if you remember. So we had the Dupli-Color and the VHT color, and we did 1 on each. Didn't notice the difference. But I did like the VHT paint better for the actual block. So when we painted the block, we have done 3 coats, and we finished this can from the valve covers. We finished this can from the valve covers, and we're probably only about halfway through a 3rd can, and we got 3 coats completely on the block all the way around. We did end up buying like 9 cans just to make sure, so we can always put a few more coats on the block or the head covers, valve covers, if we want to. I also have a poll on my Instagram, which is @73ChargerChick. You can also find me #Momma's Mopar, and every one of my single posts has #Momma's Mopar, and same thing with YouTube. So my question is that should I leave these all purple, or should we run the valve covers on a belt sander and take that paint off and get that silver detail to pull back out like we had before? So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, give us your opinions, give us your inputs, give us your thoughts, good, bad, ugly, like, ooh, I hate purple, but it's too late because it's purple and it's my car, so I'll do what I want. Okay, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Hopefully in a few weeks this is going to get swapped out, but as we said before, we do want to do a test run on the previous motor with the slight upgrades that we did last season. Okay, have a good day everybody, and again, thanks for watching.